Good morning, students. Today we will learn the first chapter of class 9, Matter in Our Surroundings. This is a chemistry chapter for class 9. So, my dear students, we learn about matter, which is present in our surroundings. Before going to this, so what is matter? So we all see around us, we can see clouds, we can see forests, we can see mountains, we can see rivers, okay? So lot of things we can see around us in our nature. So these all are considered to be matter. So actually what is matter? What happened was in our earlier times, our ancestors says that matter is made up of five things, which we call as Panchabhutas or Panchatatvas. What are those? Air, sky, earth, fire, and water. So matter is made up of, initial days they say, air, water, fire, earth, sky. These five are called Panchatattva, Panchakuta. Pancha in the sense five. So these everything is made up of these five particles. Everything is made up of these five things. Anything that present in our system or out of our system in this world, anything is made up of this. So every matter is made up of these five basic elements: air, water, fire, earth, sky, which are also called as Panchatattvas and Panchabhutas. So matter is made up of these five elements. Our ancestors say like this. If you consider, you can see. So if you see a mountain is made up of what? Definitely it is made up of stone. Stone in the sense it is made up of earth. If you say water, river is made up of water. So every matter is comes along in this constituents only. Okay. So if you see around us, there are a lot of things you can say. Everything is a matter. Suppose this chalk I'm having now, it's a matter. The black green board is a matter. Okay. The mobile you are using right now, it's a matter. So what should be called as matter? Then what is matter? Okay. In science, scientists have given some statements regarding matter. So what is matter? What is the definition of matter? For what we should call as matter? For air can we call matter? I said blackboard, white green board is a matter, mobile is a matter, chalk is a matter, your television is a matter, home is a matter. So everything is a matter, stone is a matter. So then what is matter? What is exactly the definition of matter? And what are not matters? Okay, so matter is one scientific definition scientists gives, that anything that occupies space, anything that occupies space and have mass, anything that occupies space and have mass is called matter, is called matter. See, definition of matter: anything that occupies space, it should occupy space and it should has mass. Anything that occupies space and have mass, instead of I will use has here. Anything that occupies space and has mass. See, anything, any material or whatever it is, if it is occupying space and if it is having mass, then you have to say it as a matter. For example, if you take air, as you know that air has mass, right? Because if you are having a cylinder in your home, if it is not filled, that time it will be little bit lighter. When it is filled with gas, that is loaded, then it will be heavier. What it indicates? Air has a weight or air has a mass. Okay, and air occupies space. In that space it is occupying, in the cylinder it is there, it is occupying that space. That means air is a matter. For example, this chalk, the chalk I am using, this is having mass, at least some kind of mass, and it is occupying this much of space, so this is also matter. A piece of paper is a matter. Everything is a matter. Almost all the things that we can see or we can feel, we can see or we can feel, because air can't be seen, but we can feel it. Almost all the things present in this earth which can be seen or felt with our five sense organs is called matter. But the scientific definition says that particularly anything that occupies space and has mass, it should have mass as well as it should occupy space. So that is called matter. Anything that occupies space and has mass is called matter. So anything you take, it obviously occupies a space and it will have a mass. Anything, any example you take water. If you take water in river, so definitely water has a mass and it is occupying that much of space. Occupying the space means taking the place. Okay, this is water in a beaker. This water has mass and this is occupying this much of place. Then we have to say that it is a matter. Okay, suppose if I take this duster I am taking, this duster is having mass, okay, and this duster is occupying this much of place. If I keep on somewhere, it will occupy that much of space. Then we say that it is a matter. Okay, this is completely regarding. I hope you are understanding the basic concept of matter. What is matter? Anything that occupies space and has mass is called matter. Okay, so almost all things are matter. Examples. What are the examples of matter? Anything you take: chalk, board. Let us take water, air, forest, mountain, blood, etc. So, as I said, anything that can be seen or felt, 90% seen things are matters, in 10% we feel with our sense organs. Okay, those are called matters. Anything is everything is matter. And what are not matters? If everything is a matter, then why we need this definition, right? There are some things which cannot be, we say those are matter. For example, emotions. The emotions of a person. Suppose say the emotion of hatredness, emotion of love, emotion of affection, okay, emotion of anger. We cannot say these are matter. I am angry now. This cannot occupy the space here. Is angriness has a mass? No, it is not a matter. Love. Love is not a matter. I love my child. Okay? I love my child for 2 kg. We cannot say like that. Can we say like that? No. So it does not have any mass. That means it is not a matter. So those emotions, okay? These emotions or feelings, what we can say? What we can say, I hate. What you hate? Suppose if you are hating watching TV, nobody will hate, but still we'll take it an example. I hate watching TV. How much you hate? 3 kgs? Not at all expressed in kgs. So that means it is not having any mass. That means it is not a matter. So the emotions are not matter. But the things which we can see, particularly things which we can see or feel are matters. Or in any CNT, if you take anything that is made up of these 5 elements, air, water, fire, earth, sky. These all are matters. Okay? Anything made up of these 5 things are matters. Or definitionally, you have to remember this definition. This is basics. You have to understand. But definition wise, you have to remember this definition. Question will be asked like this: define matter and give an example. Or define matter and states the types of matter. I will tell you the types of matter. Anything that occupies space and has mass is called matter. Example: chalk, wood, water, air. Then forest, mountain, blood, etc. So there are 3 types of matter. We learn it later: solid, gas, liquid. Mainly, there are the 3 types of matter. We learn it in the next concepts. And one special one is fourth one is we can call it as plasma. But these are mainly 3 types. And after this matter, we learn properties of matter. I hope this much is clear regarding matter. Okay. So now you can identify what is matter and what is not matter. If I tell you is it matter or not, then you can say that. For example, if I tell stone, it is a matter. Okay. The oil is a matter. Chalk is a matter. Dust is a matter. Small parts of there are particles of dust. You take space, it's a matter. Light is a matter. So these all are matters. Okay, these all are what matter. Then what is not matter? We'll learn now. So that is emotions are not matters. Okay. Now we'll learn about this. Okay. So now we'll learn about properties of matter. What are the properties of matter? Please note down this: definition of matter, examples of matter, properties of matter. What are the properties of matter? Mainly it is containing of 3 properties. So one by one we will go on see. What are properties of matter? Sorry, we can say properties of particles of matter, you can say, or properties of matter. See, this matter is made up of particles. You have to remember. Every matter is made up of particles. Suppose if I take a stone, this is a stone. This stone is made up of very small particles present inside. Okay. Very small particles present inside. That stone is made up of these particles. So what are those properties of particles? Properties of particles of matter or properties of matter. So first one, particles of matter have a space between them. Particles of matter have space between them. How we come to know this? Particles of matter have space between them. For example, if you take a beaker of water, okay, clean water. If you take it, for example, say 100 ml, put some Dettol in it. Dettol we use, no? 10 ml of Dettol you add to this. All the water gets colored of Dettol. Do you agree? Or we can scientifically use potassium permanganate, or in your home if you are doing you can use Dettol. Both are giving the colors. Okay. So here all water 100 ml of water gets colored. Now take another 90 ml of water in other beaker. 90 ml of water, and from this colored water take 10 ml and add to this. Again it will also become colored. This will also become again colored. Same thing we took for the third one. Take for the third one also. Here also it will have becomes what? Initially it is of clean water, colorless water. But if we add again the 10 ml to this will also become colored. We can do like this for many times. So what is it indicating? It is getting colored because there is a space between the particles of water. If there is no space between the particles of water, then Dettol cannot put the color into water. Here coloring is happening to the water means we should understand that the whatever Dettol we are pouring, that is those particles of Dettols are occupied or accumulating in between the space between the particles of water. Okay, if the particles of water are present like this, okay, so whatever Dettol you put, that will be in between these particles and getting with colored one. So we can do like this for thousands of times. This for 1000 liter of water also. This indicates what? There is space between particles of matter. So our first one is particles of matter have space between them. You should remember this. Particles of matter have space between them. Second one, particles of matter are continuously moving. Particles of matter are continuously moving. Continuously moving. Okay. See, always remember these particles of matter are continuously moving. In any object, if you take water or anything you take, any matter you take, whether it may be water or it may be chalk or it may be stone, whichever you take, it is made up of particles. Every matter is made up of particles. You should remember this. Matter is made up of small particles. First property of particles, we have seen that properties of particles of matter or properties of matter, you can say both are same. Okay, particles of matter have space between them. We have already seen they have space between them, and particles of matter are continuously moving. So if you, what we can say, if you start heating 100 ml of water or water, we can say in your home, whichever ml you take, if you start heating the water, what happens? You can see that there is a temperature rise in that. Okay, and if you keep on cooling, there is this temperature will low in that. That indicates that particles of matter are continuously moving, because when the temperature is rising, the velocity of the particles of matter increases. After that, it goes on losing the temperature. Again, the particles of matter's velocity decreases. There is always either increase or decrease in the velocity of the particles of matter. This indicates that particles of matter are continuously moving. They are always moving. Okay, they are moving from high temperature to low temperature or high pressure to low pressure. So they will keep on moving, at least very slow also. Even though there is not much of temperature difference, there is a slight movement of particles of matter. So particles of matter are continuously moving. Third point, particles of matter You have to write down these 3 points. Particles of matter attract each other. Particles of matter attract each other, or particles of matter have the strong force of attraction. See, when matter is having, it is having inside particles, those particles will attract always each other. This attraction is different in different things. In solid, if you say this attraction is more. In liquid, it is medium. Compared to solid, it is less. In gas, it is very, very less. Okay. We'll come to know about this in properties of solids, liquids and gas in later classes. So, first particles of matter is attracting each other. Okay. The particles present in matter, okay, each other they will attract. Okay. For example, what happens? Suppose if you take water, water is the best example. And if you want to cut the water, if you take the water in a beaker, or if you are in nearly river, while in river, if you take the water and if you want to cut it by your hand, by your finger, what happens? When you remove the finger, again water will become same. This means there is a force of attraction between the particles of every matter. There is a force of attraction. Okay? But sometimes you can break that force of attraction depending upon your force. Okay? If you cut or tear a piece of paper, then they will not be joined again. But you are applying higher force compared to the force of attraction of the particles present in paper. That time it will be completely divided. But here in water it will happen. So it will come back again. It indicates there is a force of attraction between the particles of matter. So this is regarding properties of particles of matter. So what we learned, what is matter? Anything that occupies space and has mass is called matter. Everything that present in our surroundings, all are matter. So what are not matters? Emotions are not matters. Okay, the emotions like love, hatredness, anger, fun. Okay, but what we can say, feelings or sadness. These all are not matters because they don't have any mass. So those are not matters. Remaining all things almost are matter, even it is in the form of gas, solid or liquid. These all are matters. Okay, these all are what we can say is matters. And one thing it comes here, definition of diffusion. Diffusion. See, exchange of the things, exchange of two matters in between them. Okay, that we call it as diffusion. Particularly, what is diffusion? We can see it in the next class. So, this much you remember matter in our surroundings, definition of matter, and earlierly our ancestors conclude that every matter is made up of panchabhutas. What are those panchabhuta or panchatattva? First we'll say air, water, fire, earth and sky. Everything is made up of these five panchabhutas only. And after that scientists came and they gave us a definition of matter. Anything that occupies space and has mass is called matter. So matter is mainly of three categories: solid, liquid and gas. And every matter is made up of particles. Every matter is made up of particles. You should remember, particles means small parts. Small parts of that matter is called particle. Okay? And those particles have different properties. Properties of matter, you can say that properties of particles of matter also. Okay, properties of particles of matter or properties of matter. Particles of matter have space between them. We already given example. Particles of matter are continuously moving. particles of matter attract each other. Examples of matter you know. So these things you have to understand. Only have to do this much and you have to be very much perfect of this. Okay. If I say give some examples of matter you are able to give. If I say give some examples which are not matter, then you have to able to write like this. These kind of things. Any emotion you can write. Even happiness. Happiness is a matter. Comedy is a matter. Sorry, happiness is not a matter. Comedy is not a matter. Okay. So emotions are not matter. So except that anything, things present surrounding us are almost matters. They are maybe in the form of liquid, solid or gas. Okay, these are the 3 points of matter. Particles of matter attract each other, but in this case, in solid the attraction is more. In liquid, attraction is less compared to solid, but it is medium. In gas, it is very less. Means in gas it is too less. In liquid it is less. In solid it is more. Okay, we can discuss about that in the next upcoming classes. So this is regarding the first class of your matter in our surroundings.